All right, let's just jump right into this because it's a wild idea. We usually think of our solar system as having just one special planet, right? Our Earth, this unique living blue marble. But what if that's not the whole story? What if our celestial neighborhood is actually haunted? Haunted by the ghosts of worlds that were once a lot like ours. Now, look, this is not science fiction. This is a real headline, and it's based on a ton of actual scientific evidence. It's kind of the central clue in a cosmic detective story that we're going to unravel right now. So our mission, if you will, is to find these lost worlds that are hiding right in plain sight. So yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? What are we even talking about when we say former Earth? I mean, we're not just looking for any old rock floating in space. No, we are looking for a planet that once had all the right ingredients for life. We're talking about a mild climate and, most importantly, stable liquid water on its surface. A world that really had a shot.
Okay, so every good detective story needs its suspects. And in this case, our prime suspects are two of our closest neighbors, planets we thought we knew so well, Venus and Mars. Let's bring them in for questioning.
I mean, just look at this. The sheer drama of what might have happened is staggering. Take Venus today. Crushing atmosphere, temperatures hot enough to melt lead. It's a genuine inferno. But its past? Well, some models suggest it could have been a warm, water-covered world for billions of years. Billions! And then there's Mars. Today, it's a frozen, irradiated desert. But all the evidence, and I mean all of it, points to a past where rivers flowed into lakes, maybe even vast oceans. These aren't just small changes. We're talking about complete planetary makeovers. So you're probably asking, how is any of this even possible? Well, it all boils down to this one really important concept, the habitable zone. You can think of it as the Goldilocks zone around a star. Not too hot, not too cold, but just right for liquid water to exist. Now, the crucial thing to get is that this zone doesn't just sit still. As a star, like our sun, gets older, it actually gets brighter and hotter. This means that just right zone slowly moves outward. So a planet that was once perfectly placed can, over time, find itself on the wrong side of the cosmic tracks. And that right there, that's where the story begins for a world like Venus. Okay, so we've got our suspects and a motive, that shifting habitable zone. Now it's time to dig into the hard evidence. We need to follow the clues, the little planetary fingerprints, the echoes of lost oceans these worlds left behind. On Mars, the evidence is practically screaming at us. Our rovers and orbiters have sent back these undeniable pictures of features that look exactly like dried-up river deltas and ancient winding riverbeds. We've literally drilled into Martian rocks and found minerals, like gypsum, that here on Earth can only form in water. And, of course, the poles on Mars are holding on to huge amounts of water ice right now. These aren't just random features, they are the geological scars of a much wetter, warmer world. Now, the clues on Venus, they're a little more subtle, a bit more forensic, you could say. First off, it has this bizarrely slow, even backward rotation. Some computer models suggest that a huge global ocean in the past could have created enough friction to literally slow the planet's spin down to a crawl. But the real smoking gun? It's hidden in the atmosphere. It is packed with a type of heavy hydrogen called deuterium. And here's why that's so important. When sunlight hits water, it breaks the molecules apart. The lighter, regular hydrogen just zips off into space, but the heavier deuterium gets left behind. So a high ratio, like the one we see on Venus, is a massive chemical fingerprint, a sign of a world that has lost an incredible amount of water over a very long time. So the thing to realize is this. When we're analyzing the canyons on Mars or the weird chemistry in Venus's atmosphere, we're doing more than just planetary science. We're basically performing a kind of cosmic archaeology. We're piecing together the incredible lost stories of these former Earths. All right, so if the evidence is so clear that these planets were once a lot more like our own, it leads us to the final and maybe the most important question in this whole investigation. What went wrong? What happened to turn these promising worlds into the planetary graveyards that we see today? Well, for Venus, the killer was a devastating climate chain reaction. See, as our sun got brighter over the eons, Venus started getting hotter, and its oceans began to evaporate. All that water vapor flooded the atmosphere, and water vapor is an incredibly powerful greenhouse gas. So it trapped more heat,
which boiled more water, which trapped even more heat. It became this vicious, unstoppable feedback loop, a runaway greenhouse effect that literally boiled the oceans away and sterilized the entire planet for good. Mars, on the other hand, suffered a totally different, but just as tragic, fate. Because Mars is so much smaller than Earth, its internal core cooled down and solidified way faster. And when that happened, its internal engine, the thing that generated its global magnetic field, it just sputtered out and died. Without that protective magnetic shield, the planet was completely defenseless against the solar wind, this constant blast of particles from the sun. Over millions of years, the solar wind just sandblasted the Martian atmosphere, stripping it away into space and taking all its air and water right along with it. So why does any of this ancient history really matter to us? Because when we look at Venus and Mars, we are basically looking at postcards from two very different, but very possible futures for our own planet. Venus is a real-world lab showing us what a greenhouse effect pushed to its absolute terrifying limit looks like. It's a stark warning. Mars is a lesson in just how critical a planetary shield is for survival. Their stories aren't just sad cosmic tales. They're a guide to understanding what it takes to make a planet habitable and what it takes to keep it that way. And that really leaves us with this final, kind of chilling thought. If our solar system really is a planetary graveyard, haunted by the ghosts of what might have been, what other lessons are waiting for us out there? It's this powerful, powerful reminder that a living world is a truly fragile and precious thing, and that maybe, by studying these ghosts, we learn how to better protect our own home.